Hey YouTube, I am Kimberly B, as you can see below, and today I'm going to show you guys how I created my own wig. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So these will be all of the things that you'll need. You'll need some hair bundles, of course. I have some Unice or Unice, however you like to pronounce it, hair. And this is the Peruvian straight bundles. I will have an initial review as well as an updated review coming. I've had this hair for a while and it's been a while since I decided to create this video. But yeah, I'm finally doing it. And the lengths were 22, 20, and 18, I believe. And the closure was 16 inches. Of course, you will need a dome head as well. I picked this up at my local beauty supply. It's smaller than my real head size, but I'm definitely going to work with it. As well, you'll need a shampoo and conditioner of your choice so that you can wash your wig once you have made it. Don't use Aussie on this hair. It didn't stand up to it. So you'll also need some scissors, some ballpoint pins to stick into your closure and the wefts to keep the hair in place while you're sewing. And then other than that, you will also need a dome cap. This is a weaving cap that I had picked up at my local beauty supply. It is adjustable and it's, I guess, a one size fits all, and it has the little straps in the back. You'll also need some combs and brushes, your regular needles and threads if you want to, have multiple needles so that you don't have to keep on doing the thread. It's your choice. And then other than that, we are ready to go. So as you can see, before even getting started, you want to make sure that, I'm just so ugly, but yeah, you want to make sure that your dome cap can fit your head and cover the area that you need. It doesn't cover like my baby hairs, like, my edges necessarily, but that's great because I wanted to leave those out anyways. Now, I'm just putting the dome cap on my head. I'm going to call her Shaniquia. But yeah. So I'm really just getting that in place so that I can put some pins into it to hold it in place so that I can put my closure on. I like starting off with the closure because everything pretty much revolves around it. And as you could see when I had tilted it to the side, that the head is a lot smaller than my actual head size is and that the weaving cap is. But because that it is smaller, as I work around my head, you'll see that I'm readjusting the dome cap on the head to make sure that it's laid down flat in the different areas. So yeah, first what you want to do is just go right around the head using those ballpoint pins, and you're just holding the dome cap in place. So now that we have laid that dome cap onto Shaniquia, it's time for us to get our closure. And I'm taking a regular scrunchie and I'm pulling the hair around the closure back just so that the edges aren't covered at all. You can definitely use some clips to do this as well. I didn't have any clips though, so I made do with what I had. So now that we've pulled the closure's hairs out of the way, we're taking our closure and we're lining up that edge where the lace and the hairs start to meet with the edge of the dome cap. And then as well, you will see on the dome cap that there is a line that goes down the middle of it, and you want to use that line as your guide for where the parts should be. So I'm just lining it up, and then as you can see, I'm taking some more of those ballpoint pins and I'm sticking them right through the area. So now we went all the way around our closure using those ballpoint pins to pretty much map out where we want to put our sewing stitches at. And definitely in constructing your wig, a wig stand will help a lot in the instance of, being able to stand up and do the hairstyle. But if you are using a styrofoam head such as mine, you can easily put it in between your thighs to hold it in place while you're sewing the hair. So we are now ready to start stitching our hair. So first of all, I'm starting off with the closure as said before, and then I'm going in with a looping motion right on the edge if I can get it. Subscribe if you like my birthday nails, yes. But yeah, you just want to simply knot it at the end, and I'm just doing a couple loops to get that really secure in place. And then as well, while I am going around, because if my dome cap doesn't necessarily fit onto the styrofoam head that well, it's even more important to make sure that you're holding it down flatly so that you're not like taking extra bunches of your weaving cap up with that thread. So I'm going to simply go right around and continue going in that looping motion. And then it's also great and important that when you are going around your closure, that you are doing your threading pretty close to each other so that you don't have like any random gaps. I don't think I did the best job myself with making sure that I was holding down my mesh cap onto the styrofoam head well enough, as well as using enough pins. But yeah, definitely the tips I would give to everybody else that is going to be making this, learning from my mistakes. Make sure that you hold it down while you're going. Now when it comes to sewing down your closure, it's important that you do one side first, and then you use your palm to hold down the closure and do the other side of the closure second. And then lastly, you'll be doing the back of the closure, the curve. Now once you get to the end of sewing one side of your closure down to the mesh cap, I am wrapping the thread around my needle 2 or 3 times to form a knot, and then I'm pulling it through. Other than that, that is how I leave my knot at the end of each side of a closure so that I continue on. And then the final thing, as I said before, will be just sewing the back. And this is just me showing you guys how I go along the sides and the back of the closure. When it comes to me and my sewing method, I simply loop around the track or the base edges of the closure. I'm not the type of person that will knot in between each loops or so, because I feel like it doesn't really need it. I just make sure that I knot when I start and when I end. So 3 million years later, Shaniqua finally has her enclosure installed on her mesh cap. So yeah, this is just me showing you guys how my stitching looks. I was a little bit better with doing the back than when I had first started out, which is good. But yeah, like I was saying, you just want to make sure that you get the stitching kind of close to each other, and then we are ready to start sewing on our tracks. So as well, one last step before sewing on your tracks, you want to make sure that your closure is lining up where you would like it to be, so that when you put your wig on, you know, it's coming on straightforward. So for the next part, because Shaniqua's head is so small, I did have to reposition the dome cap for this, and I did so by using the ballpoint pins and pulling the hair towards the front that I had already sewed on, which was the closure. So we are ready to start. So of course, just as if you were doing a sewing, you'll be taking the longer length of bundle first and putting that at the bottom of the hair. This is my 22-inch bundle, and then I'm just using some of those ballpoint pins to pin the track lines along the sides of the mesh cap. And as well, with the adjustable straps in the back, you do want to make sure that when you are sewing, that you're not sewing, like you're not including the elastic adjustable caps with, I cannot talk, okay. You want to make sure that you are not including the adjustable straps as well, because then when you go to try to straighten it up, then you're not going to be able to move it and stuff. So yeah, the ballpoint pins just take some ease off of you having to hold that track in place to sew the hair on. And then as you're sewing, you just want to make sure that you move them out of the way, or you actually could just leave them in place and then just remove them after you've sewn all of the tracks down, so that it never moves until you're ready, you know. So yeah. So this is just me simply showing you guys how I sew the hair down onto the mesh cap. And as you're sewing, you want to make sure that you're sewing the hair in like a U shape, just as any typical sewing would go. And then you're just taking those ball pins out as you wish. And that is pretty much it on constructing the weave. As you come closer to the top, it is your choice whether or not you feel that you would like to go with one weft rather than going double wefted. I went double wefted on my whole head, but as I was saying, it's really your choice on if you want it to look more full towards the top or if you want it to, I guess, look a little bit more natural possibly. It really depends on the bundles that you're wearing as well. So yeah. And then as well, when it comes to the end and applying your wig, it is your choice on whether or not you wish to add an extra elastic band. I did add an extra elastic band once I had applied the hair because I wanted extra security, but you also can just get by with the adjustable straps. And this was my final product. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. As well, if you have any suggestions for anything else you'd like to see from me, or if you have any questions, just leave them below. Subscribe, comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll